stuff. I've opened up my VM and started it, and I've also started my server, and pfSense is running in the background, so we're ready to connect to it. Those of you that don't have this set up, there's other videos that show you how to set this up. There's also a video right before this where we set up a web server on here, and you're going to need that too. All right, so what we're going to do today is show basically how to exploit a couple of common web vulnerabilities. So before we can start exploiting, we need to log in to our Windows server here, and we are going to make sure we get the right password. We're going to add a few files to our web application that we did in the last video, and those will have just basically a different set of vulnerabilities on it. So let's give this a second to start here. What we're going to do is we're going to log in, and we're going to go to the website my students use. I'm going to download the needed files. So we're waiting for the server manager to start up here. Does it go in a minute? This is running. I had to change my resolution here so I don't have quite as much space. So we'll be a little crowded, but that's okay. Somehow that's not wanting to run. I am going to, just while I'm waiting, I'm going to open up Firefox. My trick for when I'm waiting is you don't want to double click like 3 times because it'll open it 3 times. So I right click on it and I hit open and just let it go once. And then this will kind of give us a sense of what's going on. So we should soon, oh, there's Server Manager. We're gonna need Server Manager eventually, but for now we actually need to get on our web browser and get these files out. Looks like our Azure VM's running a little slow today. All right, Server Manager, which I don't need. Hopefully Firefox will come up soon, and that's what I do need. There's some services running. Still waiting a minute. This server's got some thinking to do, huh? IIS started. File local started. Still waiting for Firefox. Gently click on this so it moves out of the way. We should again be waiting for Firefox to open. I'm just wondering here, I'm going to right click again. I'm going to hit open one more time. What this will typically do is once it opens, it's going to open 2 windows of Firefox. Let's see. These times. I have been using computers a long time. Come on, baby. Give me my Firefox. I'm going to try it one time down here with a right click. So it looks like we just need to wait and wait and wait. All right, here we go. We're back. We're into Firefox. We're going to go to the As You Learn, which is where my students need to pick up their files. They're going to log in. Put in your login name, your password. And it should connect via Duo, but we might have to do it. Nope. All right, looks good. I'm gonna go to the web page where all my stuff is. We are on, actually I'm just gonna close this little sidebar. Scroll down here a little bit. My students are on this one. We're gonna scroll down here. My students need to know some stuff here. What we need to do here, let me just show you. My students are we're gonna add these 3 files. So we're going to add those. One of them is right here. I'm going to add album. I'm going to right click here. Save link as. This goes in the www root directory. That looks good. I'm going to save that there. I also need this one called login. I'm going to save link as. I'm going to save that. Then I need this one called upload. Right click on that. I'm going to save link as. I'm going to save that in there. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a new tab. Just for kicks, we're going to go like we're in the inside of our network. 192.168.1.2. This time we need to go to, for example, if I go to list albums .aspx, which is what we were doing in the last exercise. That's right here. Okay, so what we're going to assume here is this is for employees to use. And they might do something, for example, like this. We're going to go add an album to the list. And we're going to add an album. Oops. By the way, when this comes up, we do view updates. When this comes up, don't hit install now. You don't want to be doing anything while this is installing, so we're actually just going to close this. All right, so I'm going to pick a magazine. We're going to put this on, let's say, Dazed. I know none of them go above 100, so I'm going to put 101. I'll put artist here is like, I'm just going to put sample data, artist 101. I'm going to put title, and here's where I'm going to try something. This is a little trick. I'm going to look here if it lets me to put bold characters in. All right, so we'll put in here some stuff, make sure all this works on this funky keyboard I got going on here. I'm going to hit submit. Oh, now look, you see here, potentially dangerous request query string value. This is actually a pretty common thing, and what a mess. This makes it so you can't put in HTML. What we need to do in order to get that to work is I've helpfully supplied you with this web.config file. If I right click on here and I hit that one, save link as, and I save that to my www root directory. And we can go back here and it should work. Let's try it. Oops, did it just reload? All right, we're gonna hit refresh. And now we're gonna go back to dazed. We're gonna hit submit query. And you can see here, now we are allowed to put HTML, okay? Now, this is flagged as a bad thing for a good reason. The good reason is that this is how we're gonna hack it. But there are some times when you, as a web administrator, want to allow this stuff. It's usually a bad idea. That's this one right here, HTTP runtime, request validation mode. This is the one that is making it work, okay? This stuff up here, we're just gonna leave, and that's fine. So we're gonna close this. This is actually the only thing we need on this server. So this request validation mode 2.0, that's what makes it so we can now upload or include tags in our text. And we're gonna show you in just a minute why this is such a bad idea. All right, let's go just for kicks. This is Artist 101. Let's put someone on here. We see someone on here. Let's do this. I always forget which ones of these work. We need to find a JPEG art. Let me just go to here. If I go to upload cover art, we've already got a problem here. The application attempted to perform an operation not allowed. Grant this, some stuff has to happen. What has to happen here is we need a uploads directory. Okay, so I'm going back into my folders here in my www root, and I will show you in here, in this uploads file, I'm gonna hit edit, and what it's looking for is a file called uploads. It's right here. It's trying to create, if it doesn't exist, it tries to create it. Now there's two ways we can do it. I could create it and then give permissions, but I'm actually gonna go ahead and give permissions to create it. This, by the way, would be like the most lazy thing that someone would do as a web administrator. The second most would be creating the uploads folder, which honestly isn't that bad. I mean, let me just show you this. I'm gonna right click on this folder. I'm just right clicking it here. Notice I'm in the same, I'll just go over here anyway. If I'm in c:/inetpub, www root is the same place. I'm hitting the properties, and in the properties, I need to click on security, and I'm gonna hit edit. And the user that's important is this one called IISIUSRS. This is basically Internet Information Server, Internet users. And notice here they have read and execute list folder contents, read, and that's it. If we give them write permissions, that will allow them to create that directory. So I'm gonna hit OK. I clicked on write, and I'm hitting OK. Then I hit OK. Like I said, this is a little more permissions than you would get normally. Now if I hit reload, it creates it. Okay, the instructions are here. The file name should be all lowercase in the format artistname.jpg. Let me just double check who we're gonna do. We're gonna find some file, oops, let me look in dazed again. And the person who made this web application isn't the most awesome. It's basically artist, so we'll put artist101.jpg, and we just need to find a file that looks good. We need a JPEG file. Let's see what Natasha Leone is saying these days. If we can find a JPEG file on here. There's probably one. All right, let's see what this does. That's very large. Let's try whoever this is. I'll open the image in a new tab, and we're just gonna find, all I'm doing here is just using an image. So there's, oh, that's a huge image, that's fine. I'm gonna save this image, and I'm just gonna put it on the desktop. All right, I'm just gonna hit save. I'm sure whoever this is doesn't, so where is it? It's gonna be, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong desktop for a second. It's right here. Okay, now, in order to get it to work, it has to be titled, we just decided this, oops, I don't need that. Firefox open. I need it to be, I'm gonna close this out because I've already downloaded this person. Isn't that funny? They, like, it's cropped off, but they upload the entire picture. I'm gonna go artist101.jpg. So here we go. Notice here it says, the file name should be all lowercase in the format artistname.jpg. I'm gonna go back a second just so I remember. It's artist101.jpg. Okay, so I'm zipping this down. I'm gonna right click here and just hit rename. And it's all lowercase artist101.jpg. That looks great. Now we're gonna go back here. It's almost all ready to go. Artist101, all lowercase. I'm gonna browse for this. I'm gonna pick artist101. I'm gonna open it. And then I'm gonna upload it. Okay. Now it shows, oh, that's a nice little picture. Contents of upload. And there it is right there. I can look at it if I want. It's huge. If I go back, I can go to the album list. Now if I look at Dazed, submit query, that's a pretty big album, and whoever coded this did a terrible job. But there's our album art for Artist101, and that is massively big, and it's gonna get really obnoxious, but we're okay with that, I think. I was really feeling it. I might just crop it or something. What should I do here? Is there an easy way to edit these? Let me just crop this or reduce the size. Let's see. How many times do I need to do this? This is going to be this one. Need to resize by, and let's go like 25%. Okay. Now we're going to even go smaller. Let me do it again. Sorry, I'm going smaller and smaller. Let's go by another half. Make it really pretty small. There we go. Now we're going to save this because I just don't want it to be so big. I think this will overwrite the file. So let's try that there. That's way too big. And we're going to upload it. We're going to browse again. That's not one. Open it. We're going to upload that. As far as I know, it does overwrite them. Yes, oh, that's a lot better. Okay, go back, turn to the album list. Like I said, that was just too big. It's funny to have a decent, I mean, that's decent, right? Now I can still see. Otherwise it just looks weird. And notice all these other ones as broken links because there's not an upload. If you're one of my students, you don't need to keep going with this. All right, here's the next weird question. The next weird question is it possible to upload other files to that directory? Now, I just so happen to have a file here that's called directory list, and I can, oops, let me just do it. I'm gonna hack it now. Let's switch over. I'm gonna close this one down. We're gonna do some hacking. Going back to my Azure machine, I'm on a different web browser over here. Here I am gonna go back to, this is my, I was hacking it before, wasn't I? There's ASPX. I'm gonna go to the list albums page. I don't need all that stuff this time. But there it is. I can go to Dazed again. There's my lovely picture of Artist101. And now I can try something here. Let's upload some cover art. What we're gonna do, this is kind of interesting. So now I'm a hacker. Going back into my As You Learn, because I need to get one of these files out of here. If I was one of my students, I'm doing it from here because I want to show that I'm really hacking it. Because now I'm on the internet side of this computer. So here's kind of my dangerous files here. I'm going back into my web vulnerabilities. I'm going to download this file. This is called directory list. Now this directory list is just a very handy file. I'm going to save this. We're just going to put it on our desktop. So I'm going to save that. So this is the same way that as if I was doing album art, except now I'm going to upload something bad. Now, in ideal world, web pages would not allow these kind of uploads, because this is a really terrible thing. And I want to remind all of you watching that when you're about to hack somebody, it is a felony. Usually it ends up being a felony, just because the cleanup, they can say it cost them a lot of money to fix your problem that you created. So what we're doing here is a violation of the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, just so you know. And yeah, depending on what you do, you're in big trouble. So don't do this to anyone else. We're doing this as a purely test thing. And again, if you were in my class, we're doing this this is an ethical hacking class. So we're trying to show people what to do and what not to do. All right, we're going back to upload cover art. This time I'm just going to choose that file. I'm going into the desktop. I do have a lot of stuff. There's directory list. I'm going to open that one. I'm going to go ahead and upload it. And now, notice here it says file uploaded successfully, and this is actually even worse. If you look at the OWASP list of stuff, this is another problem that this web page has, but it's telling you where the root directory is. That's pretty awesome. And the even funner part about this is, I'm gonna open this let's do it in a new tab. I'm gonna open this in a new tab, and what this has in it is, let's see, this will show you the contents of each file in the www root directory. Now, I don't know if you remember this, there's add album, and this is the source code for it, right? And typically in the source code, you're gonna have to put some stuff that you probably wouldn't want hackers to see. There's a whole bunch of stuff in here. This is actually how that database is populated for the last exercise. Somewhere in here, where is that? Oh, that's probably that picture. Oh no, that's IIS start. These are kind of fun. There's another one that might be the picture of the person we just uploaded. But yeah, so that was interesting. Now that's a huge problem. We understand this, don't we? We shouldn't be able to see the contents of every file in a directory. So that's no good. We already can see one problem there. Well, we've seen two. I can upload pretty much anything I want, and then I can put HTML code in here. So here's the next thing I want. The next interesting thing that happens on this place is a thing we saw in the last exercise. And that was that there's actually another application in here. Okay, and this application is very random, and it's just created by someone who wants to show how much they love you by spending hours and hours coding something that no one will ever use for anything. But this is the login. So if you go to this file, login.aspx, it's one of the ones we uploaded. It was this one here. But again, now we're on the hacker side. Now, I'm going to leave this here, login ASPX. Now I'm going to switch back. So in theory, we're going back into our Windows server. And just to be sort of nice, I'm going to go in here. And instead of going on that one, I'm going to go to login. All right. So now we're on the friendly side. And this is where the good people are. And on the good people side, someone name is employee number 247. Whose password is Amanda, is going to log in. Okay, oops, and something happened wrong here. Amanda totally is supposed to work here. What did we do? Let me try that again. 247, all lowercase, Amanda. There we go. All right, so we're Amanda, or our password is Amanda. Somehow we're Alyssa Sprinkle. You can see here, this is Alyssa. And Alyssa, there's Alyssa's address. These are fake addresses, by the way. That's a fake email address, and this is supposed to be a phone number. And then the hacking exercise last time, you actually saw the hashed passwords. I'm not going to log out or anything, but anyway, here's Alyssa Sprinkle. And let's say Alyssa is like, I don't know, Alyssa's in charge. And this little thing here, if you remember from the last exercise, this was titled admin. And if we promote someone, like Booker becomes an admin. And now if we are Booker, and Booker knows Booker's password, and Booker can log in and be like logged in. That's pretty awesome, right? Well, that is actually interesting. So notice here it says such and such 192.168.1.2 login ASPX promote equals 1 employee ID equals 120. Would you be surprised that it's possible that I can get, if Alyssa visits a page, I can get Alyssa to promote anyone I want? That's pretty awesome. Here's how you do it. I'm going to go back over here to my Azure machine. So I'm the attacker again. I'm back in the top albums list. I go to add a record to a magazine. We can use the days list, that's fine. I'm just going to add a 102. What I need to do though is make sure Alyssa is going to visit the page. So I'm going to add an album to the list. This one is going to be on the days list. We're going to do 102. And now here's the thing. There has to be enough space in this field to fit the code we need. And I'll show you the code we need. It's basically, I'm going to scroll up here. It's this embedded iframe, which is right here. There's an embedded iframe here. This is a special one. With the style and this stuff, it's hidden. But with this source, where this one says hello, if I change that source, it will have Alyssa. I'm just control C'ing this. I should just right click it, shouldn't I? I'm gonna right click and I'm gonna hit copy. I'm gonna go over to the album. The artist I'm gonna hit, it doesn't matter. Artist 10. I would want this to be, let's put in here, I don't know who's Weezer. Does anyone know a Weezer album? Let me find a Weezer album really quickly. This of course takes 12 hours. We're gonna do, Pinkerton. All right. I'm gonna call this one Pinkerton. One of the problems with this is it needs to fit. I'm gonna actually paste this before I type Pinkerton because it needs to, where's paste? Paste, paste, paste. Why aren't we pasting? Paste. All right. It needs to fit in the title. We're not sure how much space was allowed in the database for this, so I need to keep it as small as I can. This entire tag has to fit though. So this iframe style equals, I could probably make it a little smaller. There's a couple of extra spaces in here, but it's not great. All right, here's where the action happens. Where it says hello.htm, I'm gonna switch back over to my Windows server. And I want to have it say login.aspx, promote, all that stuff. So the hacker needs to know this. And I don't know if you're the hacker already. Oops, what happened there? That's the wrong thing. I see my wallpaper there. Where am I at? Why is that in full screen? That is so weird. Okay. Come on, Azure. Did I do that to myself? Look here. I want this to be not full screen. Shrink it over this way. Because I want to be able to see that URL while I type it in. There we go. All right, I'm going here, position absolute width, height, source. Source is the file that's going to be open. So if I go in here and I say login.aspx, I'm just copying that URL and hitting question mark, typing promote. It's probably a good idea to have the capitalization be the same. Promote equals 1. Then I need to hit an ampersand here. It's got to be exact. EMPID equals 12. Well, I don't want 120. Let's say I was an employee at this company, and I am, I don't know, I like being Olin. We're going to be 852. Okay, so Olin Kirker is going to be the one, and Olin is the one who's going to be promoted here. What do we say? 852. Employee ID equals, I'm just going to change that to 852. All right, now we hit submit. And then we go to view it, and let's see what it looks like. We're the hacker again. I hit submit. Let's see if it looks good. Zoom this up a little bit. I think we're looking okay. Whoops, I'll just scroll down here. There's our girl. There's Pinkerton. So this looks like a normal album. All right, but unknown to Alyssa. If Alyssa goes to this place, she's on localhost, and she's doing, what are we on, list? Needs to go to this, use the same IP address. She's going to go to the list albums page. And notice here I'm at 192.168.1.2. We need to get her to go to this page, and then she needs to go to the magazine. So we hit submit query, and I mean there's Pinkerton right there. But what should happen now, I'm just going to open a new tab though. I'm going to go to 192.168, go back to the login page. Notice Alyssa's already logged in, and now Alyssa has promoted Olin to be an administrator. So that was fun. I'm gonna go back over here. I was just messing around a little bit on this one, and I did another album. Let me just show you here. This happened because I had to edit what was going on. I added another Pinkerton to this Esquire list, so I'm the bad person again. I did this while you weren't watching because I had a little hiccup that I'd forgotten about. And this time I'm gonna have Alyssa promote. This time it's gonna be 663. So what we're looking for is that we'll promote Naomi Yerkes to be an administrator. This will be an Esquire list. So if I go back here, and it's the same deal, and go to Esquire, hit submit, and it's the same thing. I mean, there's Weezer Pinkerton. It doesn't look anything different to Alyssa, but now Alyssa's gonna reload the login page and notice Naomi Yerkes has been promoted. That's awesome. That was really cool. By the way, if you're my students, you have to identify what the vulnerability is. We just exploited a vulnerability. I want you to kind of be able to explain to people like, this is what this vulnerability is called, and this is how it manifests itself, because you all are geniuses. All right, I'm going back over here. We're doing all kinds of crazy stuff. All right, we've done that. Now, this is where it gets crazy. Here's what we need to do over here. I'm going back, and I'm gonna be my hacker. I'm gonna close out. Let's leave list of top albums here. I'm gonna leave this open for Alyssa to look at, and we don't need Alyssa to promote anyone, so I'm closing that tab. And here's just her page where she shows stuff. That's actually not what I care about here. So what we're gonna do though here is I'm gonna download another file. Let me close this one out. I actually don't, well, I'm gonna leave that login open. I'm gonna get one more file out. This one's called get cookie, well, a couple more. This one I want, get cookies. I'm gonna right click here. I'm gonna save it. This one is gonna go to my desktop, because I'm gonna upload this one to the web server. What this file will do is, let me just show you what's in it. This file is on the desktop. I'm editing it, open with Notepad. This file will get all the cookies. This little part here is where it gets the cookies that a person has for this domain. And then it takes the cookies, see how they're called cookies right there? It takes the cookies and it sends it to this address. Now, this address is, I'm gonna go over here. I'm just showing you what's happening on Alyssa's machine. If I go to 10.1.0.1, this is my Azure machine. So this is from the internet. So this is the machine on this, anyway, this machine. All right, so as a hacker, I have to prepare some stuff. Get cookies is actually what I'm gonna upload, because we had that where I could upload whatever file I wanted. I'm gonna close this out, but I need to set up this file, this logit. I'm calling it logit, because we need to be able to log the cookie. because I want to be able to see what the cookie is. So what we're going to do is we need to trick Alyssa into opening this page, and then that page will grab her cookies and send her cookies to me, because I'm the bad person. I'm reminding you, you're a bad person, right? Don't do this, because this is what, if you do this to anyone for real, you actually are, now you're a hacker. All right, this is going in my root folder. I'm just going to go into here, c:/inetpub. I'm on the Azure machine, and I need to put this file in my root folder. Okay, I'm going to go back, opening that up again. There's this is the file that just shows this is my server. This file, if I open it, by the way, this file, I'm going to edit. This file is, this has some ASP in it, and it has to be an ASPX file, like an active server pages file, in order to have these options, and also in order to get data. But since you're the hacker, you can do whatever you want. And speaking of getting data, since we're the hacker here, we're going to set up our computer, because I forgot to do this already, but we definitely need to do this here. We need to add a feature, or actually it's a role. We need to add a role here that allows this server to get internet files. So I'm going here into web server, and you would have already done this in the other exercise anyway. I need to configure that ASP.NET works. So I check the box there under ASP.NET. Remember, I've done this already. I hit server roles, expand this, expand application development, find ASP.NET. Don't check this one, check this one, because it'll add the rest of the stuff you need, and hit next. This, by the way, is pending a restart because I actually had to do this once, and then I needed to show you how to do it, so I uninstalled it. But it'll just take a second. If I don't do this, the script file won't run, and I won't actually get the data I need. So we wait a second for that to work. All of a sudden, this is going really fast. You spoke too soon. Okay, I'm gonna hit close. I'm gonna hope this works because I don't want to have to restart my whole thing. We're gonna go back. Let me just try this here. I'm gonna just check that it works. So I'm gonna go to, this is my server, so this is localhost, and I'm gonna type /logit.aspx, and I just need to make sure that it runs as a script file, and that does run. There's nothing in that file. Remember when I opened it over here? Let me just show you again. Oops, not in there, it's in www root. When I open logit, there's no contents in the file. All it has is some headers it puts on, and one of the headers is basically to give permission. This is kind of funny. I have to actually give Alyssa permission to send me stuff if I'm a hacker. Otherwise she won't send me stuff, which is kind of funny. It's funny that it works, sort of one way and not the other. The server has to be configured to accept the data and not the other way around. All right, so we're back to the list of top albums. And remember, I have that get cookies thing, right? So I'm going back to the upload cover art, and we already found out this will allow anything to be uploaded. So I'm gonna put this in here. In fact, let me just check though. No, I think it's ready. All right, we're gonna upload this, so I'm gonna hit open. And I'm gonna upload that file. Now here's the thing about it. I can follow this right now. So I'm a hacker, and I'm a hacker side, and if I hit this file, it does some stuff. I'm gonna show you what it's doing. So we're gonna go to show the browser tools, more tools. This one is, we need the developer tools, and we need to look at the console. Here's the console. So what it does, it says these are the cookies, and then it sends the cookies to this URL. This should maybe not work. I don't know if it's gonna work. Let me pop this open though. If I go into, I'm gonna go to c:/inetpub, and I'm gonna look in the logs. I got all kinds of logs in here because I actually was testing this earlier, and so we're gonna open this up. And what time is it now? It's 2:23 p.m. So there should be down here. You can see I did log it a bunch of times. So I've been testing this a bunch. But here, is that right? Yeah, this is us. This is us just trying to access it right there, log it. That was us. Now what we want to do is have Alyssa do this. That would be really cool, wouldn't it? If we could get Alyssa to do this, send us her cookies. All we need to do is get her to, let me go back one. We need to get her to go to this directory. And luckily I know that's in /upload/getCookies. So let me just open this in a new tab again. So what I need to do, is it right here? Yeah. What I need to do is get Alyssa to go to this place. And you know what? I think we already know how to do that. Because we can put in an embedded iframe and then have her just hit that file. And it's right there ready to go. So let's think about that real hard. I'm going to go back to the album list. This time we'll do a new list. What's our other list? We did Esquire just barely. We'll do NME. How does that sound? We're always putting poor Weezer. I'm going to put Weezer in here on NME. And we're going to add an album. It's going to be on NME. Of course, the way they would recognize this is that Weezer is not from last year. It's Weezer. Weezer we love. And then it was Pinkerton. And then, what do I want to do here? Should I try to get the, I'm trying to just copy and paste this, but I think it's okay. Let me just go to here. I'm going to find this code again. This is my code that I was using. I'm hitting Control and C. I'm hitting here, and I'm Control V-ing it. Instead of hello.htm, I need to put it in uploads/get cookies.htm. I'm a very thorough hacker here, so I do want to just double check. It's in uploads/get cookies. It has to be spelled right. Uploads/get cookies. And if I don't spell it right, then I'm embarrassed. So I'm going to hit submit. And we're just going to check it here really quickly. It's in NME. I hit submit. I'm going to do the developer tools again. I'm going to go more tools, developer tools, and we're just going to double check that it's doing this stuff. So by the way, this stuff is okay. Where's the console? These are not found files, but this is the one that's important. Okay, so it is trying to execute that get cookies. And now what we can do, I'm just closing this out. Now we're waiting. We set a little trap for Alyssa. All right, so Alyssa's over here. Remember, here's Alyssa. Let's double check that we're still Alyssa. Alyssa's fine. We already got Alyssa to promote people without looking. Now we're gonna say, hey Alyssa, here's an interesting link you might check out on your own web page. Submit query. And then it's down here. There's Weezer Pinkerton. Okay, so here's the fun part. Just for kicks, I'm going to show you anyway whether we're going to see if Alyssa even did it. So we're going to click here. We're going to go to the more tools, developer tools again, and show the console. Where's our console? Oh, there it is right there. So notice here, here's the cookies. The cookies are this. And the URL, it looks okay. Login ASPX, login info, that looks pretty good for us. And it also didn't do like a not found. So again, Alyssa's not going to check to make sure we hacked her correctly. We are going to check by looking at our log. So I'm going back into my c:/inetpub logs, looking in the log files for the web service and the web file for today. I'm scrolling down to the bottom. And yep, there it is, just like we hoped. There it says login info, session ID, all that stuff. Now, here's what we can do with that. That's kind of fun, isn't it? Login info, I'm just gonna copy each part of this. Actually, I'm gonna copy this part. I'm gonna Control C right now. I'm gonna go into my web browser, and this is the craziest part of web browsing, I'd say. Let me just flip over to this page. I'm gonna go to the login page. Right now you see it's like a magic trick. I'm a magician now. If I go back to more tools, developer tools, and here I want to go to cookies. And there's probably, it's either called cookies or cookies and local storage. Where are we? Sources, elements, welcome. Where's my storage? Let's see, is it going to be in memory? No. Maybe application? Yes, there it is right there, cookies. All right. Right now there's no cookies. But if I right click here or just double click in here, I can actually create my own cookie. This cookie is going to be called login info. And guess what its value is going to be? The value is going to be this part. So I'm going to copy this. Just in Control C. Switching back over here. I'm back in my storage, and where it says value, I double click there and I hit Control V. I hit enter. And now this is going to be really weird. Let's see what happens. If I refresh this page, oh my, what? Just by changing my cookie, I become Alyssa Sprinkle. Now that's pretty wild. I think I just did some crazy hacking. I'm going to let you digest that, and we will pick this up. Or not this. If you're in my class, you're going to pick this up on the next exercise. The rest of you are left to marvel at my magicianness. See you next time. Oops.